Alright guys, I am back with my review of the WWE Elimination Chamber 2013 pay-per-view. And after watching this show, which I thought was a good show, really liked the main event with Punk and Rock. Something that just strikes me as odd is you see these pictures of CM Punk and The Rock backstage, and they're joking around and they're great friends now. And the only reason I felt like mentioning this now is because they're probably going to start going in a different direction with Rock and Cena. And I just remember when it was Rock feuding with Cena, you had all these guys backstage, and CM Punk was, I believe, the most vocal about Rock comes back and he's taking the spotlight away from guys like us, and he's main eventing WrestleMania, and we work hard all year and we don't get to main event WrestleMania. But now that CM Punk is in a storyline with Rock, now it's okay. Now it's okay that Rock is back and they can joke around and they're good buddies now. I don't know, that's just something that strikes me as odd, is how quickly he flip-flopped once he was in a program with Rock. But anyways, on to Elimination Chamber. The pre-show was Tensai, or Sweet Tea as his new name, and Brodus Clay versus Rhodes Scholars. And of course, Tensai and Brodus beat Cody Rhodes after splashing him. I'm not surprised they had the comedy tag team go over here since they're trying to build these guys up. It was, I don't know, it was a pre-show match. Then we get Big Show versus Del Rio for the world title. Del Rio gets Big Show in an armbar, and Ricardo, those dirty cheaters, pulls the rope so Big Show can't reach it, but of course he's huge, so he still gets a foot on the ropes. He powers out of another armbar, and he knocks out Ricardo. And he holds up this little bucket Ricardo's been bringing to the ring, and Del Rio runs up to kick him in the head and misses. This was a bad botch here, but he runs up again and he hits it this time. So he gets Big Show in another armbar, and this time he taps out, so Del Rio wins the match, but technically he still has not pinned the Big Show. But it was a good match. Antonio Cesaro versus Miz for the US title. Cesaro attacks the injured shoulder. Miz goes for the figure four. Cesaro kicks his leg out and Miz lands on his nuts. So the ref rings the bell. Miz is disqualified for this and he's pissed off, so afterwards he just kicks Cesaro in the balls. I mean, I thought it was an okay match, but I didn't care for the finish, obviously. But I guess it's a way to keep this feud going, so. Daniel Bryan tries to talk to Kane about them working together in the chamber, but Kane doesn't want to. Elimination Chamber match. Jack Swagger comes out. He's got new entrance music, and I actually think it's pretty cool. It's kind of like a dark Civil War theme or something. And Zeb Coulter cuts another promo about Louisiana and immigrants. And Daniel Bryan and Chris Jericho start the chamber match. Then I believe it's Jack Swagger. Then Kane comes into the chamber. Kane and Daniel Bryan actually work together, but then Daniel Bryan tries to roll him up. So Kane gets up and he's like, "What the fuck, man?" And Daniel Bryan says, "Hey, let's hug it out." But Kane refuses, so they start fighting. Kane and Chris Jericho actually hit the Doomsday Device on Daniel Bryan. Next is Orton. Orton hits the drop DDT on Kane on the steel, and then Mark Henry gets unleashed. This was awesome. He starts dishing out these headbutts. He hits Daniel Bryan with the world's strongest slam, eliminates him. He throws Randy Orton through that glass stuff. Kane slows him down a little bit, but then he gets hit with the world's strongest slam. He's eliminated. So Chris Jericho and Jack Swagger try to work together. They suplex Mark Henry onto the steel. And I saw this and I was thinking, man, that steel took some impact right there. But then Jericho and Swagger start fighting each other for some dumbass reason, which allows Mark Henry time to recover. So he gets up and they start working together again. Swagger hits him with the boot. Jericho hits a code breaker, and Orton hits him with the RKO to finish him off and eliminate Mark Henry. So I thought this was awesome. Mark Henry looked really strong. And then as he's leaving, he changes his mind and says, "I'm going back in," and hits the world's strongest slam on all three guys. And he's just standing in the chamber until Booker, Teddy Long, and the officials get him out of there. But this was great. So Randy Orton hits the RKO on Chris Jericho, eliminates him, and then Jack Swagger rolls up Randy Orton, gets the win. Jack Swagger is going to WrestleMania. And I think this is great for Jack Swagger. I really didn't expect this. I have to say that even though this chamber match didn't have a lot of those bumps into the glass or anything really crazy, it was still a really good match, and you had no idea what was going to happen here. It could have been any of these guys. So, well, I mean, it couldn't have been Kane or Daniel Bryan, but it could have been Mark Henry, Orton. I mean, you didn't really know what was going to happen here, so I was really into this chamber match. And I thought these guys did a great job. I'm happy for Jack Swagger. I guess they're going to start building up this Del Rio-Jack Swagger feud immediately. And I kind of thought they would wait until after WrestleMania, but I guess they're going to start pushing that now. Then we get Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback versus The Shield. This was actually a good match. It really showed just how talented The Shield is. But The Shield gets destroyed in the beginning, and I was just thinking, oh my god, this is going to be bad. I mean, they're just going to kill these guys. I mean, the babyfaces hit all three of them with vertical suplexes. And then Sheamus rips off Ambrose's vest thing he wears to club him. But eventually The Shield starts to get the heat on Cena. Ryback gets the hot tag. Roman Reigns spears Sheamus through the barricade. They try to powerbomb Ryback, but Cena saves him. Cena hits the AA on Ambrose. Ryback goes for shell-shocked on Rollins, but Roman Reigns spears Ryback. Rollins lands on him, covers him for the win, and the Shield takes off through the crowd. So I'm very happy the Shield went over here, because if they didn't, this would have killed these guys. But for only their second match, I think it's the second match, I thought they did a tremendous job. Dolph comes out with AJ and Big E. He says he's not on this show, even though he always steals the show. Booker comes out, says he has an opponent for Ziggler. It's Kofi Kingston. AJ slaps Kofi on the apron. Dolph almost runs into her again. He turns around, gets hit with Trouble in Paradise, and then Big E saves him? I mean, that's what the announcers said, but to me it looked like Dolph kicked out and then rolled out of the ring. But I don't know, I only got to see it once. I couldn't go back and watch it again, so I'm not really sure what happened here, but it looked like Big E was supposed to save him, but he was too far away, so Dolph just kicked out and rolled out of the ring. But Kofi dives on Big E. Ziggler hits Kofi with, I think it was the zigzag to win the match. It may have been the super kick. I didn't write it down for some reason, but I think he hit him with a zigzag for the win. Afterwards, Big E beats the crap out of Kofi Kingston. I mean, he kills this poor bastard. And then he hits that finishing move on him, and the fans chant one more time. So that's bad for Kofi. Backstage, Brodus Clay and Sweet Tea are playing with toys. And Brodus asks him what that Japanese is on his face. What's that mean? And Brodus says, or Tensai says, I have no idea. With my luck, it could be a sushi menu. And I thought that was really funny. Tamina versus Caitlyn for the Divas title. Tamina misses the splash. Caitlyn hits the spear for the win. Not much to it. Then we get Rock versus Punk for the WWE title. Crowd is really behind both guys here. Punk slaps The Rock, trying to get him to disqualify himself. Then he spits in his face. Punk hits a rock bottom onto the announce table on the outside, trying to get Rock counted out, but the table didn't even budge. I mean, he just landed right on top of this thing, didn't break at all. So Rock gets back in the ring. He hits a rock bottom on Punk. Punk kicks out, and then the ref takes a bump. Punk hits the GTS. There's no ref. So they get a second ref, and Punk goes for another GTS, but Rock hits the spine buster and the people's elbow. Punk kicks out again. So the new ref takes a bump, and Punk tries to hit Rock with the title. He misses, hits Paul Heyman. Rock hits the rock bottom, gets the win. So it's going to be Rock versus Cena at WrestleMania. I thought it was a really good match. It started off a little bit slow, but it turned into an awesome match, I thought. And even though I was fully expecting Rock to keep the belt here, I didn't know what was going to happen. They got me into the match, and that's what made it so good. But yeah, overall I thought Elimination Chamber was a pretty good pay-per-view. I enjoyed a lot of this. The Chamber match was good. The main event was good. Shield versus Cena, Sheamus, and Ryback was good. Antonio Cesaro versus Miz was okay. Didn't really care for the finish, but Big Show versus Del Rio was pretty good too. So all in all, I have to say this was a decent pay-per-view. I enjoyed this year's Elimination Chamber. And I've heard some rumors tonight on Raw, if they're going to do Taker versus Punk, might see Undertaker on Raw tonight, but we'll see what happens. So anyways, that's my review of the Elimination Chamber 2013. Hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this pay-per-view in the comments below, and thanks for watching.